Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Razer Gosu Cup, brought to you by Razer and GoSuGamers.net. My name is Totalbiscuit, bringing you Spades in the purple trunks. He is playing Terran to the southwest of the SHOUTcraft Plateau versus his opponent, the one and only Socke from Team Attacks. He's in the light blue trunks and he is to the northeast, and he is playing Protoss. Very nice indeed. So, what happened? Well, Spades continued with this whole idea of we're just going to build a giant force of Marine Marauder Medivac and we'll get some Vikings then. You'll notice that the entire game he kept getting countered without realizing it. So what ended up happening was Socke started building Templar, and what happened with Spades is he went, oh, he's building Templar, I'm going to build a load of Ghosts, and not build any Vikings. Mistake, because in fact there was a double robotics facility available, and he was able to easily construct a large number of Colossus. And then we had the similar problem, like, oh, I've got a lot of Vikings. Ah, he has Templar now, oh dear. And by the end of it, we're looking at a fully upgraded Protoss with level 3 shields. That's not nice. That is not nice under any circumstances, with a large number of high Templar and Colossus, and Spades just wasn't able to handle it. He never went for any higher tech, honestly. He did get some upgrades to his Marines and Marauders, but it was way too far behind Socke. And what ended up happening at the end was, well, he just couldn't handle it. He had no tanks, didn't have anything else. I mean, to be fair, what else are you going to build? Tanks? Cool. Thors? Nah, it doesn't really help, honestly. But tanks would have helped, certainly with a large group of those gateway units. He didn't really bother with it. No mass air, anything like that. I heard some people in the chat suggesting, why didn't you go mass battlecruiser? That doesn't work very well against 3-3 Protoss with high Templar. Just FYI. Useful info to have. Now, I wonder if this will be another 30-minute macro game. We'll find out. I doubt Socke wants another 30-minute macro game. Admittedly, he plays very well in those environments, and I can't imagine that Spades wants anything of the sort either. Spades was, I wouldn't say out-macroed the entire time. He was keeping up with Socke, but still, he wanted to be ahead, and he wasn't. And that's the problem. Okay, Spades, go and have a look-see and see what you can see. Cybernetic Skull coming down right here for Socke. Socke, once again, is not known for early game aggression. He has it in him, certainly. A lot of the times in Protoss v Protoss, you'll find that he'll go 4-gate versus 4-gate, and this 4-gate is pretty good. Spades with a different approach this time around. Factory coming down. Not looking for the early expansion this time. No Reaper fast expand for him. Bit of Hellion play, and of course, he could be going for 1-1-1 build, go through to his starport, and how much does he have? Well, he's going for that second refinery, so it seems like starport is quite likely. If he were just going Hellion, he might not have got that so early, but bear in mind, he is on 21 supply, so maybe, just maybe, we could be seeing that. We'll find out very shortly as to what he's actually going to go for. Now, Socke got that really late robotics last time, if you notice. I wonder if Spades knows that, because if he does, then he will be going for Banshee to exploit that timing. We'll see what ends up happening here. Gas counter's looking pretty good for Spades right now. We'll find out very shortly. He's going to go Hellion, then into Starport, and then I can only imagine this is going to be a Banshee harassment. I thought it was going to be a Hellion drop. We'll find out. Most likely to be a Banshee harassment. And this will be good. If he's able to get Cloak out, that'll be perfect, because Socke has this tendency of going into a really late robotics. Very late. It depends if he decides to change that, especially with this, because what he tends to do is he'll go with the Nexus, he'll then go fast expansion, he'll then get 2 more gateways, and then only then add on a robotics, which means no observers, and also no forge means no cannons. So that cloak will prove to be very powerful. He's able to deny that very nicely there. Marines and a Hellion to counter that Stalker and denying expansion. I don't know if Socke will see that as suspicious. He might, and he is. Look at that robotics facility coming down. It's like, he is very cautious about denying that a scout, isn't he? What we're going to do? Well, we're going to build a robotics facility. So if he does decide to go Banshee here, which of course he is he getting Cloak? He doesn't have it quite yet. Doesn't have the minerals for it. We'll see if he decides to go Cloak. Surely he will. But this strategy for Spades is actually not going to be so great, because while he's denying scouting, he's not getting any scouting of his own. He doesn't know about that robotics. Now, Spades is still not going for the Cloak, so I have to assume this is just going to be an uncloaked harassment. It's too late otherwise. Factory coming up with the tech lab. Interesting stuff. That Banshee certainly will be able to poke and do damage, but it's not going to be all that effective. Just needs to get a couple of Stalkers out to deal with it. One Stalker already on the field. Here comes that first Banshee. Will it be scouted? And actually, Socke doesn't have map control, so he's not going to see this one coming. He does have that Stalker lying around. This is actually going to be a bit bad for Socke. He does warp in 2 more Stalkers, however, so he's able to deal with that. I think he may have seen that Banshee coming with that Stalker, so he's aware of what's coming. And we do have a Raven on the way up for Spades. Huh. That's interesting. A little bit of airplay coming in, and we've got the siege tank, but still, no expansion right now for Spades, and that's going to be unfortunate, because you can see right there, work supply is in favor of Socke, and the economy, as a result, is in favor of Socke. Pylon coming down right there, a little bit of harassment coming in from Spades. Where are those Stalkers? It's actually going to be quite nasty. He takes out 3, looks for a 4th, and he should be able to nab it as well once it comes out of there. Delays it for a little while. A single Stalker coming in. Stalker versus Banshee right now. You'll see that the single Stalker is not able to take a Banshee. Can't be done. Absolutely not. But 2 will. No problem whatsoever. Banshee's a light unit, so that extra damage doesn't really work so well. Socke is able to hold it quite nicely. He takes a little bit of damage, but still, his economy is still well ahead, so he doesn't really have too much to worry about right there. We'll have a look at the unit count, and what we will see is that Spades is building up a fairly significant force. He does have a Raven. He's got a tank up as well. He's got siege tank upgrade. There's the 2nd. He's going to be moving out to secure what looks to be a very late expansion, or he's just going to go with a 1-base attack with this. I don't know if he's really got the production facilities to make that happen. Socke admittedly does not have a huge army. A push like this could be quite effective, but Socke seems to be very keen on keeping an eye on what his opponent's doing, spotting an expansion timing if there is one. He charges up that ramp. He's going to see siege tanks. He's also going to see the size of his opponent's force. So we'll have to see what he decides to do to deal with that. Immediately goes into an Immortal. Now, it's a fairly heavy marine composition right here. Spades actually going to go... It looks like this... I'm really very cautious to say the word all in, but Spades just did throw a lot of SCVs at this push. So it's a very aggressive push that, if it fails, could be economically damaging to Spades. I can see why people say all in, because it's way easier to say than that. But there you go. Spades is going to get really aggressive. He's going to throw pretty much all he's got at this attack. Will Socke be able to hold the line? He doesn't have any cannons, which is not going to help him. He does have more units coming in. The army supply advantage is not huge. Those tanks will certainly help. The Raven is going to be really helpful right here with the PDD going down. Surely he's going to deploy the point defense drone. That was a bit late, actually, on the point defense. A lot of damage coming in. He doesn't get the deployment right there. Now, Socke trying to carve his way through that marine force. Is it going to be enough? He needs to bring that Immortal down. It's taking a huge number of casualties away, and that Raven's going to get sniped out, and the Banshee as well. The push fails. It's held by Socke, regardless of the fact that Spades had a superior force. That wasn't good at all. He lost a lot of SCVs in that push. That is not ideal. No, siree. In the meantime, Socke will be able to gain both a hefty economic, tech, and army advantage. This is going to be really hard to hold here for Spades. Really hard. A single siege tank will not be enough. That Immortal didn't hold up, but still, Socke pushing forward. Doesn't have any upgrades to go with it, but honestly, he doesn't really need it right now. Catches his opponent out in the open once again, but Socke not willing to go until these reinforcements come in from the side right there. Let's try and snipe up a few free Marines. What he looks for. In come the Zealots. Now, that mobile tank doing a reasonable amount of damage. Oh, now that is all in. There we go. That is what I would call all in. There's a second push from Spades. He's throwing it all out there. This is all he has. Look at that. It's completely devastated his economy for this one last push right now. Socke falling back nice and calm, as you would expect from Socke. Efficient play, sniping off those SCVs, not taking any real damage himself. Army supply count is still in favor of Socke. I don't see this working. I really don't. There's an Immortal on the field as well. There we go. And those SCVs will not be enough to hold up against this kind of firepower. There it goes. Right into the line. No way. Absolutely not. Spades just got torn apart. Completely outplayed. GG, ladies and gentlemen. And Socke takes it in a very convincing fashion.